Hello everyone, welcome to Java Talent. So in this today video tutorial, I'm going to cover the 10 modern Java features for the senior developers. Okay, so like how we are using code which is 50% lesser than the actual code which we have written in the earlier. So for doing not further delay, so in this videos most of the times we are going to ignore the Java boilerplate and now we are going to use the modern approach. Okay, so let's start. Actually in this video I'm going to take 10 points which is most important for us. So let's come to that, like modern Java features as a senior developers which we have to use. Okay, so let's come to the first topic, so which is records, the boilerplate killer, we can say that. So this is introduced from Java 17 plus onwards. So like here before Java 17 means this is the single biggest win for our data centric classes. So if the class is primary purpose is to hold data, for example, which we have to use, so basically we can go for the record. Okay, so like it will automatically they are immutable, automatically generate the constructors, getters, equals, hash code and two string methods. Okay, so this is the basic math is simple. So 10 lines of 10 lines of code will become now easier, you can see here. So for example, if I'm going to take one user class, so there's still the two fields which is id and username. Still we have to generate 25 lines, right? So we have to generate getters, setters and equals methods and hash code to a string, so that can be used. Okay, but coming to this 19 latest version of Java 17 onwards, so basically if you see here, we have just used public record user and id and string and that username. Okay, so this is the one line. And how we can go to use this record, basically we have to call it as variable user, new variable new user, or the value which we have to assign. So long user id is equal to user.id. So this is the accessor are named after the field. Okay, so this is the very tricky and simplest way that which we have to use. So the codes are immutable by default, which is almost always what we want. Okay, in the modern architecture. Okay, so for example, if you need the mutability, you are also usually modeling a stateful entry. Okay, so not a DTU. Basically, you should use the traditional classes in that case. So that is one step as well. Coming to the second approach, which is pattern matching for instance of. Okay, so pattern matching for instance of is goodbye, means nothing which we have to use. Okay, so how many times we have to write the same tired sequence, like check the type, then explicitly cast it. The compiler nowadays it is cast for you, and inside the block which you can provide the check which you have to use. So in this if you see that in this line which we have the clean and nested logic instantly. So earlier we have to write like instance of that string is equal to explicitly casting required here, but coming to this latest approach, s is automatically cast to the string, and in this scope automatically you can use s is out of scope here. So this is the pretty rich way which we have to use nowadays. Coming to the third topic, which is the switch expressions. The flow is simpler now. So traditional switch statements, if you remember, like we are subtle bugs, like there's the due to the accidental fall through, and they were like statements. You could assign the result to a variable, but switch expressions fix this by guaranteeing the result and using the arrow syntax. Okay, so if you see here, like this arrow syntax is now which we have to use, which is eliminate the need of break statement. So if you see here in this old pattern which we have to use the break statement, but nowadays that is not required. So for example, string day type, switch day, case, everything which you have to write, right? But for example, now if I'm Monday to Friday I'm basic, so that's way I can make it happen. But in this case where we have to like crucial break which we have to use, but that is not needed in the latest approach. Okay, coming to the fourth topic, which is the sealed classes, the architectural power up, we can say. There is no any old and latest approach, but it will reduce the possible bugs. So for example, if you see here, sealed classes which is introduced in Java 17. So you can make a note of it. So it has been introduced in Java 17 onwards. Okay, so make sure to uh, use that. Okay, so Java 17 onwards, that are not that are about to reducing the lines of code directly. They are about to reducing the possible bugs, which is enabling the compiler to help with the correctness. So now you can explicitly declare which classes or records you can implement or extend shield type, enforcing a control hierarchy. For example, here in the first line, if you see the enforcing that only the circle, square and rectangle can be shapes. So if you see here, the public shield interface shape and permits which circle, square and rectangle. Here I am saying that the public record circle double implement shape. Here I am saying that any class that is not explicitly permitted cannot implement the shape. Okay. So that actual magic, when you combine these with the switch expressions, the compiler can now guarantee you have handled all possible subtypes, eliminating the need of defensive default clauses. So this is the powerful for domain-driven design modeling architecture. So okay. Next is text blocks. So basically the SQL and JSON savior it is. The old way is like if your Java code deals with the multiple lines of strings, which is SQL queries, JSON payloads, and HTML snippets in your code. So or complex file I can say. You probably had ugly concentrate strings with manually inserted /n. So if you have ever gone through that JSON payload or SQL query or whatever you have written in your code, we have seen that there is a lot of /n statement which we have to insert, this character which we have to insert most of the time. So now text blocks completely handle this pain now. So if you see this text blocks, triple double quotes, triple double quotes, we can say that the triple double quotes dot 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 your whole words inside it, and then ending with that triple double quotes. So this will handle your pain. And then for example, now your press, if you see here, we have to write this way, but here if you see that the same structure like in the JSON format or whatever, dot formatted of now works great with the formatted. So this all work with the formatted now. So this is the simpler approach we can say that we have to use. Now coming to this local variable type interface, which is where. So these features often misunderstood in about to reducing the noise created by the redundant. So the key is local variables, where is the type is to clear from the context. So you save typing, but the real benefit is cleaner lines, especially with generics. Okay. So all approaches like which you have used here are like map of a string of list of user map, new as map. But here if you see that the way which we have written into the new approach is the type is obvious from the right hand side. So from LHS to LHS it goes. Now variable user map is equal to new has map of string and list of users. So here we do not need to specify that type of here the assignment, and it's still explicitly enough for readability. And then if you see that try variable reader and new buffer reader, so means this whole part of the from the left hand side, if you see that we do not need to use. Okay, so only use the variable wherever you needed. So this is the way we do not need to type mass actual value, but where you can use and where the type is immediately obvious on the right hand side. Whatever the type you have been used into the right hand side, that will be assigned to this particular variable. So don't use it to focus it method return types of the fields type, so it will be assigned that value from right hand side obviously. Okay, coming to the next point is which is the optional enhancement, less defensive code. What it means is optional class is essential for functional style programming, functional type of programming, but older versions made common tasks, which is verbose before pre-Java 11 and after Java 11 you can see here. So Java has added clean methods to make error handling and side effects cleaner. So see here, handling a missing value with an error, we have to write this way: string result optional value dot or else new such element exception missing value. Cleaner way is to throw an exception like result is equal to option value dot or else no such element exception of new, right? So this is the cleaner approach from Java 11. If you see the handling the success or failure side effects, optional value dot if present like this, if optional value is not present, do something else. Now cleaner you see in the single condition check, optional value dot if present or else, this do something and this do something else. Both are concluded into one pattern and which you can use. Okay, coming to the next one, stream API enhancements. So there is the enhancements, we can say that, which is the concept basically, take while and drop while. Okay, so concept is the stream API is the foundation of modern functional Java. Take while and drop while allow to powerful condition based short circuiting filtering. Okay, so based on this take while and drop while, we can make a short circuit filtering pattern basically. So instead of consuming the whole stream with a general filter, you can stop iterating the immediately, means whenever iterating the functional or anything, so list, you can just intermediately stop that condition by taking this take while and drop while, which is leading to faster processing of your large data sets. Okay, for example, if you have the data is like 1 2 4 6 9 10 12, take while. Okay, takes elements while the predicate is true, then stops. For example, take while n is tends to n is less than 5 returns 1 2 3 4, means it will start from 1 2 4, and whenever that is condition met here, n is less than 5, it will stop. Okay, take while means the same value will take it and then returns it. That's it. Drop while, what we will do is drops the element while the predicate is true, then returns the rest. For example, I am saying that drop while n is tends to n is less than 5. Okay, so returns, so latter point of view, what it will do is 1 2 3 1 2 4 checks done, less than 5. Okay, yes, then rest of the value it will return. Okay, so this is the basic simple steps which we can follow. Next is collectors dot to unmodifiable list, or it can be set, it can be map. Okay, so defensive by default. So old ways, in older versions, developers were constantly forgetting to wrap mutable collections in defensive copies. For example, if you remember, like collection dot on modifiable list, this is the classic source of concurrency and the state corruption bug. So for example, in the old approach, you can see here, list of string mutable results, source list dot stream dot filter dot collect dot collectors dot to list. Okay, so which we have to collectors dot to unmodifiable list, right here, collectors dot to list and everything. Okay, later you might return it like this, allowing the external modification, or return the mutable results, which is dangerous. The defensive way was verbose. For example, if we have to write, so we have to write this way: safe list source list dot stream filter collect collectors dot collecting, and then collectors dot to list collection dot unmodifiable list. But if you see here, one liner, guaranteed immutable and safety. List of a string safe list source list dot stream dot filter, directly we can make to the list. Okay, we do not need to use that collectors further. This is the simplified from Java 16 plus syntax. So this is the simplex way which we have written into 16 plus syntax. So but if you using the 10 plus version, you can do like this way: list of a string safe list source list stream filter dot collect. Okay, collectors dot to unmodifiable list. So that way you can achieve this enhancement. Next one is, last but not least, stream dot to list. This is the stream finalizer. The old way is verbose, the new way is concise and safe. So like see here, a list of a string names employees dot stream dot map employee dot get name, and collect dot collectors dot to list. Simple way, like list of a string names employees dot stream dot map employee of get name and to list, like a single method call, no more dot collect dot collectors dot to list, that way which we can use here. Okay, so the complexity, like the conclusion we can say for this video is, like the complexity in enterprise software is rarely in the business logic itself, so it's in the constant connectivity issues, the boilerplate code which we have to defense. Okay, and modern Java from Java 17 is designed to emulate the connectivity issues by adopting these 10 features which I have just demonstrated. You are not just pleasing this compiler, you are freeing your brain. Okay, so from your cognitive load. So the code which you have to write don't write same it is as and can't have the bugs. So make your code cleaner and clean approach so that you can maintain a large code base. Okay, I strongly agree, urge you to that stop using the old versions, verbose patterns, and try migrating yourself or your details to records today, because records is very challenging and very changing the concept nowadays. So that one change alone will give you the immediate quantifiable 50% reduction in your count of the code. Okay, so the line of the code which you have written, if you are using records, it will automatically decrease. Okay, so that's all.